Hello, how are you doing today?
Great.
Hi,
How you doing,
Paul.
Paul?
Doing amazing. Thank you so much. So happy to get to talk to you about this because it's so important and so uh, what a incredible group of people that you got together and just the stories and just the great nature of it. You got to be so proud and so excited to unveil this to the world finally, right?
It's a lot because yeah, it's it was a long protracted birth, right?
Mhm.
And you kind of go, yeah, I'm having a baby, and then you bring the baby out and the whole family's there. They're like, your baby's gorgeous, and you go, yeah. So definitely those feelings.
Joel, is that how it goes?
Yeah, I mean, you're never quite sure,
Yeah.
The
right? You're
baby,
never
the
quite
baby
sure.
could, the baby could be have an odd head.
You know what I'm saying? But the pressure was on because of the historic nature of
Yes.
this ensemble cast, particularly for the women, 17 of the leading actresses, and that's not everybody. It's incredible. And so it was a pressure filled, like, because you want to get it right because nobody's going to be able to do it again. And they won't catch this moment. Like once the moment's gone, it's like true documentary. Like, there'll be other people. There's no new moments. So
Mhm.
what an opportunity.
Yeah, an absolute blessing. Well, the thing is, we got to hear from all of them, but to hear from both of you because you both accomplished so much, people look up to you and they think, see, that's what I want to do. But yeah, it doesn't make it look easy. So, what kind of advice would each of you give to somebody that wants to follow in your footsteps?
Well, watch number one, the call sheet. I mean,
Yes,
fact
yes,
is,
for it.
it doesn't matter what part of the business, or maybe not even in show business at all. This is a movie about a winner's mentality, right?
Yeah.
When you hear Will Smith break it down, you hear Kevin Hart figure out how to overcome obstacles. I don't care what business you're in. You're like, right, I've got to have that kind of drive, that kind of willpower that gets you to the goal, whatever it may be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And the only thing I would add to that is what you really feel, what I feel is that these women are doing, they're in their purpose. They're doing what they feel like they're called to do. And when you are in your purpose, um, you find a way. You find a way. And their example of finding a way. And, I particularly feel that with Whoopi Goldberg's story, early on, nobody knew what to do with her because she didn't fit any box. And we found some archival footage, we had great archival producers, etc. Um, because you can't believe that kind of footage exists where a reporter would ask her to her face,
Yes.
well,
Mhm.
you can put on a blonde wig, but you can't play a blonde. You can, you're not a beautiful woman, all of those things. You can't play a beautiful
Wow.
woman. And if I told you the story, which I'm butchering anyway, so see the film,
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe me when you see the evidence of it. And
Mhm.
so what these women are building on a business where they were seen as extras, as supporting, and to be able to move the needle from supporting to lead to beauty to is incredible. Yes, there's more work to do, but
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you'll like this. So my co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys, caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame. And, he came up from being an undrafted free agent, signing bonus of $250, I think. And, and here he is, and went to the world stage, just like many of these people. So we like to talk about that Hail Mary moment, that moment in your life or career where you just have to go for it and it worked out for you. I'm so curious to know what that was for each of you, because you've both been through it too.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so many.
Hmm.
Like when I made my first movie, House Party, it cost two and a half
Yep.
million dollars, right? So you go, and like it was a hit. Like I'm feeling good about life. Then you get a call from Eddie Murphy who says, "I want you to make my next movie."
Mm.
So you go from 2.5 million to 40 million, right? And you go, okay, he's the biggest star in the world. Technically, we're the same age, but I remember he was on Saturday Night Live and I had a bedtime, right? So I like there was it's like, how am I directing him, right? But you just gotta pull up your socks and just go for it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the like, am I over my skis? Am I like, is this crazy? No, you just got to do it.
Hmm.
I should have gone first, Reggie, man.
Yeah,
Like, how am I going to follow
that's
that
pretty
up?
amazing.
But I will say this in listening to your response. You know, the first film you make is always the question is, can I be a filmmaker, right?
Yeah.
And my first film on Shirley Chisholm's run for president in
Yeah.
1972, the documentary. And I'll never forget, we had a rough cut. It went to some executives, and they wanted me to edit the opening, take the whole opening out, and start. This is a Black woman who runs for the Democratic nomination. They wanted
Wow.
to take the whole opening out and start with Walter Cronkite, who said, a hat, no, a bonnet was tossed into the presidential ring today, that of Mrs.
Wow.
Shirley Chisholm. And I will never forget this. Everybody in the editing room looked at me
Mm.
Mm,
like, what are you going to do?
mm.
No. And I had to
Oof.
go home and think about it. And they had said they didn't know what the film was about because I had some abstract opening about the 70s and Miss Chisholm
Mhm.
came up and blah, 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 blah. I said, you know what? Fuck that.
Yeah.
I am not going out as a director of a film about a Black woman, starting with
Yeah.
the top journalist ridiculing her.
Yeah.
So we opened the film, and I put lower thirds. You know where I marked it, and then I separated myself, took the spirit of the note, and changed it. And
Mm.
that was when I started to feel like, okay, I can be a director. It is about staying true to who you are and your vision while accommodating all the other people. And I'll tell you that same cut that those executives tore
Mhm.
apart got us into Sundance. So we were in
Yeah.
Sundance. And then, of course, all the executives thought the film was fabulous
Oh,
after
yeah, of course.
Sundance, you know. But
Uh,
imagine if I had not done that and I had started with Walter Cronkite.
But see, that's a good story
yeah.
because because as to quote other people, you don't have the cards, right?
Yeah.
But you had your integrity, and that was more than enough.
Yeah, that's amazing. And similarly, on the show we talk about all the time that success mindset that you have to have, whether or not you're feeling it or not. And hey, we're creative types, we're hard on ourselves. And we see it in here in the film. What do you tell yourself that keeps you on the right path always? Because it can be tough.
Well, I believe that your gut knows almost instantly, right? And what happens is your mind has to catch up and has to come up with reasons why what your gut is telling you is accurate, right? And when you make a movie, you have to make hundreds and thousands of decisions, right? And you don't have time to come up with the rationalization all the time. You just have to trust your gut. And that gut was developed from when you were 6 years old and you were watching TV and reading books and going to the movies and all the things that shaped your sensibility. And at a certain point, you just have to go, I have to trust my gut. I don't have time to explain it to you. I don't have time to explain it to myself. My gut is screaming no right now, and I got to go with that.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, and then Shola, what do you tell yourself too? Because I'm sure you have your own process.
I tell myself to trust the process, which is
Yeah.
similar to
Mm,
what Reggie is saying, right? And I come to it as a formal national and world-class athlete. I ran track, I was a Lady Longhorn at the University of Texas. Hook 'em!
Yes, that's
800,
right.
1500, All-American, like broke my first national record when I was 14. And
Hmm.
so you cannot train for a big meet in a weekend, right? Like it's process. And you do have moments of panic and you have moments, low moments. But the thing is, and you make a plan and you have to pivot
Yeah.
because sometimes it doesn't work out. You get injured or and that practice, the very Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off practice of sports, exactly, is what really serves me as a filmmaker. And as a woman, I'm not sure I would have had the ovaries to be a filmmaker without sports.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're so absolutely proud to tell everyone to check this one out because I think it's the kind of positive content that we really, really need right now. And so, thank you both so much for all the hard work that you put into it and in everything else that you do, all the gifts that you've given us. And I can't wait to find out what's next and look forward to talking to both of you again soon.
I love it. Thank you so much, Paul.
Hey,
Thank
thank you so
you
much.
very
Appreciate
much.
you.